Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to another in our series of interviews speaking with our hubs in this Co-SFSC project, this co-creating sustainable food supply chains project, funded by the Belmont Forum and various funding agencies across 5 different hubs. Today I am speaking with the Thailand team, and I'm so excited to hear about their project, what they have planned, who their local practice partners are, and what their big vision is for the local food system in Thailand. So welcome, and I will first have you just briefly introduce yourselves so we know, sort of who we're talking about. And I am Ashley Colby. I am representing SCORI, the Sustainable Consumption Research and Action Initiative, and I'm sort of helping to dig into this project in a more easy to access communication style so we can understand what's going on with this research project and sort of share across the world. So welcome. Let me start with Natapol. Would you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Natapol Thongplew. I'm a trained scientist and social scientist. So I work as a lecturer at Ubon Ratchathani University, Thailand for environmental science program. So my research interest is focusing on sustainability in general and also sustainable consumption and production, as well as other aspects of environment. So it's very broad. So more or less circular economy and life cycle thinking, that sort of thing. And food is one of my interests that have been have a chance to work on for a while. So this could be a very interesting project for me.
Wonderful. And Kanang?
Hello, my name is Kanang Kantamaturapoj. I'm a social scientist. I'm working at Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, Mahidol University in Thailand. My research interests focus on sustainable food consumption and production. My previous research was to study supermarket strategies for selling organic food to urban consumers in Thailand. And I also carried a study with consumers and other stakeholders to develop urban food policy by using participatory process.
Wonderful. So let's just start by situating this overall project since these videos are separate from one another. Let's just kind of briefly explain, although it's kind of a complicated project design, briefly explain what the overall project is that we're focusing on for those of people who are just tuning in for this as their first video.
So I'll tell you about how it came about, maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, more or less. So as Kanang, there are one more researcher in the project, which is his name is Sithides. He is a economist for the project. So as Kanang and Sithides and I knew each other long before this project. So when we got, and we also share research, that's the same research interest. When we got an email from our international colleagues to form a team and to work on a proposal for Belmont projects, we thought, oh, wow, this is a good idea. So why don't we focus on organic food supply chain? And then we dig deeper into the food supply chain, organic food supply chain, and saw what was interest. It was restaurant supply chain, so which is very interesting and suits with the lifestyle of Thai people these days. So, but when we talk about organic supply chain, there are many research have been done already. But in terms of transdisciplinary and also multidisciplinary research, and also working with a local partner to implement the actual idea or the research outcome, it was very good and very interesting for us. So we signed up on board and wrote a proposal on it. Yeah, that's how it came about.
Yeah, that's perfect. And actually, for those who are just tuning into this series of videos for the first time, something that's really interesting about this particular project is we are working with each hub. There are 5 hubs: Taiwan, Thailand, Turkey, Sweden, and Germany. They're working with local practice partners, and the idea is to not just have them participate, but to have everybody work together to envision some sort of transformation that they would like to take place in their local supply chain, which I think is a really innovative design and really exciting, and not a very extractive model, which some research can be. So I think it's really really cool, and I think it kind of drew a lot of us into this project, me included. So let's do a little bit of a background, historical background, to sort of situate people who don't know much about what's going on in the specific Thai case. Tell me a little bit about like the history of organic food in restaurants in Thailand. Is there a history of cooperatives? We have this sort of focus on cooperatives in this project. So anything you can sort of situate, the history of this kind of food, this kind of food supply chain system would be great.
Yeah, for our Thai project, as Natapol said, we focus on organic food consumption in the restaurant. Let me firstly provide you some background of organic food production and consumption in Thailand. Organic food in Thailand is niche market, and we only find organic food in local farmer market, specialized shop, and some upscale supermarket. And Thai people, especially those in urban area, have more demand on organic food because they are more concerned about their health and food safety. And Thai consumers in urban area are also well educated. Most of them work outside home and have purchasing power, but they do not cook due to time constraint. Anyway, most of organic food in Thailand are sold in fresh form. We have fresh organic vegetable, fresh organic food in the supermarket, but there is no cook or ready to eat organic food. So my previous research confirmed that the provision of organic food was incompatible with lifestyle of urban Thais. So this time in this research, we intend to focus on eating out because eating out is most predominant food consumption practice for Thai consumers. But now only few restaurants in Thailand serve organic food. So we think focusing on restaurant is opportunity to improve and promote organic food consumption in Thailand. And we select two study locations. The first one is Bangkok and Metropolitan, and the second one is Phuket. And these two locations have potential to transition for more sustainability in terms of consumers' concern and high purchasing power. And in this research, we contact Thai Organic Consumer Association, or TOGA, to be our practice partner. The name is Consumer Association, but it was indeed established by a network of organic food providers in Sampran district in Nakhon Pathom province near Bangkok. 10 years ago, the owner of Sampran Riverside Hotel encouraged farmers to switch from conventional to organic farming and sell their products to the hotel to cook and serve organic food in the hotel restaurant. And they use participatory guarantee system to certify their organic products. And Sampran Group is very successful, so they set up TOGA and aim to encourage restaurants and farmers in other parts of Thailand to work together. TOGA was established in 2019. This association includes consumers, organic farmers, business, and relevant stakeholders, and aim to coordinate among partners in driving organic society by supporting farmers to produce organic products and expanding market access that offer fair pricing to consumers. And for Thailand Hub, our research will be generally divided into 3 phases. In the first phase, we evaluate sustainability of restaurant food supply chain, and we develop sustainable criteria from literature review. And we already interviewed 21 key informants about sustainability practice of restaurant supply chain. And then we know the gap between sustainability criteria and the real practice. Then in the second phase, we will conduct visioning workshop with stakeholders to investigate their visions of sustainable supply chain of the restaurant. Then the result of evaluation from phase 1 will be shared with the participants for their input. And in this phase, we expect to gain more understanding of stakeholder vision on organic food consumption in the restaurant. And lastly, we will conduct a transition workshop. In this workshop, we will show sustainability ideas from visioning workshop, and we'll ask them to think about the interventions that can be developed in order to achieve sustainability ideas in future vision. and we expect to obtain creative and practical interventions from the participants. We will also select some interventions to do experiment whether these interventions can lead to more sustainable practice or not. And that's all the plan for Thailand Hub.
This is so good. There's so many parts that I'm so interested in. So to recap, you plan to do, and we're already some months into the project, assess the sustainability of the supply chain, but doing interviews, talking to key stakeholders, then doing a visioning workshop where you sort of bringing in the stakeholder vision of how things can change, and then a transition workshop thinking about interventions. I'm really curious about this participatory guarantee program, the certification program that TOCA uses. I wonder whether or not you see that as a kind of cooperative, or is TOCA a kind of cooperative model, in the sense that the farmers themselves are sort of certifying one another?
Yeah, I think more or less it's a kind of cooperative, because PTS, we call it like abbreviation as PTS. PTS is like a coordination between farmer and relevant stakeholder within the supply chain itself. And then it always act as it's that called police to chase and to check whether each farmer like that in the group doing this the practice that according to what they agree or not.
Right.
So more or less it's like a cooperative model in a way, but it's not very like commercially oriented. So that in the sense that they are doing things together, it's more or less cooperative, but it doesn't like have the actual financial transaction happening within that.
For certification, just for the certification.
Yes,
part.
more or less.
I got it. Yeah. But that's interesting because it's a sort of cooperative governance, not necessarily cooperative business, but that's really cool. So TOCA, the Thai Organic Consumer Association, that's your main practice partner. Anything else you want to add, Natapol, about the Thai project, about the practice partner, and more about the plans for the project, or anything about the Thai background, the history that we didn't touch on?
I think one of the interesting thing about organic in Thailand is the PGS itself, because more or less like people in the West may think about like organic label or that kind of thing when we talk about organic food. But in Thailand, organic label is quite costly in terms of if farmer want to get certification, and the price is huge. So if farmer do not do the organic production for export, they do not have enough money to apply for organic certification. More or less, PGS itself is a way of doing things in a cheaper way. So it's more or less like policing each other and without any much cost to pay for.
Yeah,
so
I love that. I love that because
that
that is actually the case in the United States, that the organic label is really expensive and very bureaucratic for the state to come out and check your farm, and sometimes the rules are written more for the large organic farms and not so much for the smaller farmers. So this is a sort of bottom up, power to the farmers themselves to determine their own standards. I think that's really interesting, really inspiring. Okay, so what do you expect will happen over the course of the project? What in the best case scenario, what are we hoping will happen in the Thai case?
So as Kanang mentioned a lot about our project. So I think we have 3 phases of the project. At the first phase, we aim to see the overview of the sustainability in the supply chain at first. And we would have a discussion in terms of how they want to improve the situation to a better or more sustainable level, and then implement the intervention that they came up with by themselves all together. I think if it is the base case for us, we will see the changes in the supply chain for the better sustainability to suit with everyone's needs. I mean, it can be like the need of the farmer, the need of the restaurant owner, and the needs of the consumer themselves. So more or less, like all these 3 stakeholders talk together and doing things together to improve the sustainability in the supply chain. So that what the best case for us. that we hope to see for the project. So
Yeah,
it's 3-year project, a
yeah,
long
yeah,
time.
yeah, right,
Big
exactly.
improvement.
We can do only so much, but it's good to have big hopes. I think this is so similar to many of the other cases we've spoken to because I think that many of the largest firms, corporations have sort of taken a lot of the power out of these smaller actors, and so it's almost like a rebuilding process, like rebuilding these networks, rebuilding these connections between the restaurants and the farmers and the consumers, in a way that they're all sort of aware of what each other wants and hopefully can find some sort of solution that is pleasing to everybody. It's hard to do, and I think as researchers we can kind of use our power to get people in the same room speaking to one another and hopefully aiding in that communication. I think that's a really great goal we can have and add to research projects. Okay, any big picture wrapping up, what is the big picture hope for the local food system in Thailand? And I think once we're going to do some videos in the future, it would be really interesting to hear once you get some data back the difference between Phuket and Bangkok, because there's sort of different demographics you'll be looking at in these two different locations. Phuket, I think, is like a touristy town, right? Maybe a lot of maybe foreign consumers in the restaurant. Bangkok, I'm assuming more like white collar, high income earners in the organic restaurants, but Thai people in the city. So will be really interesting to see the comparison between the two cases. But sort of big picture wrapping up, what is the hope for the Thai food system? What direction do we want to move in?
So if we talk about local food system in Thailand, in this term, local food is very somehow quite distant, not very well institutionalized in our thinking in a way. Because if we go to supermarket and want to buy some food on the shelf, there's nothing saying about where it come from.
Yeah.
Where they from. No, nothing mentioned about it at all. So when consumer go to the market or supermarket, they just grab things that they saw on the shelf and that's it. So if we can somehow like initiate or somehow stimulate the thought about local food system for the consumer, that would be, I think, a lot of benefits to the farmer, to the consumers, and to everyone. As it should a short food mile, of course. And also, if it is organic, it's good for the health and for the environment. And if we talk about what is it called, food that available on the shelf for supermarket, and consumer always thinks that if we go to supermarket, we have to see the same vegetable at the shelf all the time. And it is quite not annoying, it's quite demanding for farmers to supply all those products to consumers. And it's weird. If farmer cannot produce that vegetable in the season, supermarket or have to import them from elsewhere. So it's quite a bit a headache for the food system. So if we somehow promote the idea of local food, so that would be a bit like educate consumers and somehow like ease up the supply chain. It would be a good idea to do that from my thinking. So
yes, yeah, I love that. And seasonal food, like you mentioned, I think it's in some ways, if you have seasonal and local food, there's some kind of magic in it in some ways, because it's like, oh, I can only get this time of year, and I can only get it, and I can only get it when it's so fresh that it tastes totally different than if I were to ship it in from another place. Everybody knows this difference between the garden tomato and the tomato that was shipped in from another country, who's in summer while you're in winter. So just thinking about that, that is kind of exciting. Kanang, anything?
Yeah, very exciting, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Kanang, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would like to see equal distribution of profits in local food system. In Thailand now, food system is monopoly. only 1 or 2 big food companies dominate and control over food supply chain. And these food companies are very powerful and tend to control all other actors in the supply chain. For example, they force a farmer to buy seed or animal food from them. And the food companies also have their own supermarket and convenience store, so they can only select their products to sell in these stores. The consumers have no choice and have to buy these products because they are cheaper and available in all of convenience stores. So I want to see the collaboration between local farmers, small business and consumers who actively work together in order to create sustainable food supply chain that everybody receive the equal distribution of profits. And we have example from Thongplew model that everybody in the supply chain got equal benefit. The hotel and restaurant have more customers who are aware of their health and have willingness to pay for premium price. And at the same time, the farmer can sell the organic products to the hotel in good price. The hotel also open a space for local organic market on Sunday. And at this market, the consumers directly meet the farmers and they know the origin of food. They know how food are produced, and this creates trust between farmers and consumers. And even the organic products are not officially certified. The consumer trusts the farmers and then trust the products from them. So I hope that this kind of business model can be successful in other parts of Thailand, and hope that our research will contribute something to this change.
I love that. That's a wonderful note to end on. Thank you both so much. We really look forward to following your research project throughout the next couple of years and seeing how we indeed do transform the food system. Even then, tiny efforts, they will add up. So
Yeah.
thank you both so much.
All right. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank
Bye.
you.